Hello and welcome back to Tel and Odobert. I'm Hester and I'm joined by the brilliant Ben Bowman. Ben, how you feeling, mate? Window's done. You had a class little feature on the overlap.
Little Ben Bowman side quest.
Yeah, that was sick, mate. It was so good. It was so good watching you on there.
Thank you, mate.
You did really well.
Yeah, thanks, mate. If anyone's not watched, I was on the Overlap fan debate, which came out this morning. There's another episode coming out later this week where we did hot takes as well. So the one that's come out today is talking about the transfer window and talking about all our clubs basically. So just talk about Spurs and that. But there's another one that's coming out which is hot takes, which is actually really good.
Yeah.
Which I destroyed an Arsenal fan.
Did you?
That's what I would say.
Did you?
Yeah, that's what I would put in there. If I was making a YouTube video, it'd be like Spurs fan destroys Arsenal fan about.
Fuck
basically,
Arsenal.
actually, I'm not even going to say what the. No, it was basically I said that Thomas Frank will win a trophy at Spurs before Mikel Arteta wins his next one with Arsenal.
Ooh.
And it got everyone in the room loved it. I was like, oh, come on! And it was like,
do you know what
yes.
you did really well at, actually? You did. There was a moment where I feel like they thought, no meat. They had a dig at Spurs.
Young meat.
Young meat. They had a dig at. Scholesy had a dig at Spurs, didn't he? He was like, he was like,
just lost to
Bournemouth 1-0 at home, and then you were like, no, and then people piling on, and then you were like, no, people are gonna sort of write us off because we're Spurs, but if you look at the PSG, mate, I was like, fucking come on, Ben, come on, let's have it. Just you having.
I look at Carragher and he's just going. Carragher's just going.
Yeah.
He's right.
And he knew you. You had a little fan, Cara.
That was funny, that.
Yeah.
He was like, I know you. I know your face. Although he did forget that I was on it last year.
Sorry, mate. He knows you now, mate.
Yeah,
he knows
some
you now.
friend.
Yeah.
Does he not remember the iconic... Does he not remember the iconic centre-back partnership photo that I put out? Does he not remember that?
You absolutely dwarf him, mate. You made him look like...
That's probably why he wanted to forget me, so like he didn't want me to intimidate him. Like, I get it. Like, I understand it.
He waited for you to sit down before power move,
yeah.
mate.
He was like, you've not been on this before.
He stood up and he was like, fuck, you have? I don't know you.
Oh my God, I know that, lad. No, he was quality. He basically just said at the start of it, he was like, I know you. He was like, I know. He was like, oh, I usually introduce people on their debut. He was like, I know your face. You're on TikTok, aren't you? You do the videos with all the stuff behind you. He was like, been slagging me off loads. Don't worry about that. Yeah, TikTok. He was like, been slagging me. To be fair, I'd probably have slagged Carragher off on TikTok, but you know, he can take it.
Yeah, he can take it, and he loves a little dig at Spurs as well. So
yeah, so it was quite funny because he was like, oh yeah, no. Someone said to him, he was like, do you go on TikTok? He was like, oh, I don't post my own stuff, but someone does that for me. But I do like to have a little scroll. The idea of like, it makes you think like football content. They're all so locked into it. They all know what's going on.
Yeah,
like they would have seen most people. They'd probably watch Darren and Doing.
Yeah,
like
why not? Mate?
Definitely.
Yeah,
like I reckon Scholes definitely locks into a bit Darren and Doing.
Yeah, of course. I bet he loves it. I think he's the one person you could probably rule out going on any of that. I think Scholes. Yeah, definitely.
Probably.
New kit, third kit. Oh my God! And the sort of collection of Spurs sort of branding. You posted. You were saying you're not the biggest fan of Nike for Spurs, but you got to just stand up and applaud this.
Look at this, right? Let's get it.
Unbelievable. That sweatshirt is so nice. I'm getting it.
That is unbelievable.
Special Johnson in it. But the training kit.
The Levy Outlaw are going to hate this. We've just lost and we're going, look at all this training stuff. It's unbelievable.
Buy. Coin.
That is so nice, that Anthem jacket.
Oh, mate.
It's annoying that hoodie is only for women.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can get the Tech Fleece hoodie. I saw it down here. Imagine Thomas Frank's going to look absolutely dripped out first Champions League game wearing that Tech Fleece.
I swear he did, and he was like auraless.
He did against Reading. Yeah, it looked horrible.
Didn't look the best, Thomas, mate.
That's nice. That's nice.
That's
That's nice,
mate.
All of it's nice.
It is so good. I love the I just love
sweatshirt.
Just love the retro style. That sweatshirt.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, for the audio listeners, it's like a little bit darker than the sky blue. With the old school badge. Oh my God, it is. That's tasty.
I love that.
Yeah, old school Nike. Mate, it's so good. Honestly, I think I'll get that. But then with the black kit, the third kit, I love the third kit. You've got the third kit, yeah?
Yeah. I bought it last week.
Yeah, mate, I'm jealous. Honestly, fair play to Nike. Yeah, go get it. But fair play to them because I feel like they haven't done us a lot of favours since having Nike. And when you look at like them lot down the road, how sort of commercial they are, and how it's like a brand, like a trend to wear an Arsenal kit because it's so fucking nice. Do you know what I mean? And I've always looked at them being like, fuck off. Every time you're walking down the street, someone's wearing a fucking Arsenal kit. It's so good. And I feel like Nike have sort of fired back. Unreal. Champions League. Was that Champions League 2026 winners?
That's what I think. That's crazy what can happen in a year.
Yeah. No, mate. We got a question actually about we'll get into it. We got a question about what we expect to win and stuff and so on. I think it was Matt Sappola saying
the lot.
Yeah, no, he was saying like going deep in a cup competition. I'm gonna give a little preview. Not a preview. What's it? A little sneak peek. I actually think we should be winning the FA Cup this year.
Yeah.
I actually think we should kick on and win the FA Cup. That's what I'm saying.
I think we've got big opportunities for trophies.
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. Anyway, let's get into it. So, I actually think this window, I think we got caught up in the we're like junkies looking for that dopamine yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit disappointing, but I woke up this morning thinking, yeah, actually, you know what? Kolo Muani, obviously, that came out of the blue, and I actually think that would be a really good sign. We're going to get to him in a minute.
Yeah, I like Kolo Muani.
We obviously didn't get like the winger signings, which again we're going to cover all this. I'm just giving you a little sort of synopsis on how I'm feeling. But I feel like, and no centre back. But when we look back at this window for years to come, I think it will be a very significant window. Like Son leaving, Romero new contract, which a lot of people keep forgetting.
Yeah, that's a new signing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look, we got quality. Yeah. So Ben's got up the transfer market ins and outs. So we'll go through them. But I actually think this is a very significant window. And like Simmons coming in, we got Simmons, Kudus, Tell's made permanent, Danso's made permanent. Vuskovic came in, has obviously gone back on loan. Kota Takai. Hopefully we see a little bit more of him soon. But from the compilations, he actually looks. He don't look bad. I just don't know how he's going to cope with the settling in, especially with no pre-season. But hopefully we can start to sort of have him coming in, and maybe when we're sealing games off and just trying to get him like as much game time, as much exposure as possible when he does come back. It's just unfortunate that he's had a bit of a stop-start start to us. João Paulinho on a loan, option to buy 25 mil. Kolo Muani, which was a big surprise. I think Zeus actually called it, to be fair. He called it in advance, saying, like, just put it in the bag now. And it's such a Spurs thing. Obvious. Yeah, it was so obvious. We were going to be like, oh, it's still falling through, is it? Oh, yeah, let's get in a loan. So, but I'm happy with that. Højbjerg obviously got sold. Brian Hill and Solomon getting them. I know Solomon's alone, but thank God that they're both gone, because that was another thing. I think, and we left it so late. But, I mean, getting them off the books was like essential. We couldn't have all these players just rotting at the club. Valise on loan, what a cack. Divine, Yang, like they're all getting like loaned out. Obviously Regulon going. I don't think it's Mikey Moore getting a loan. Obviously Rangers spit. I don't know. Rangers maybe not.
Started
the best
in the Old Firm, didn't he?
He did. I didn't catch the game. Did he?
Mate, it's a dreadful game.
Was it 0-0?
It was the worst game of football I've ever watched.
Really?
You know that account on Twitter, the XG philosophy, that like just tweet the XG of like every game.
Yeah.
It was the lowest they've ever had in a
Serious?
Game on record.
Get him back, Michael Moore. Bring him back. We need a left winger, mate.
Yeah, he was okay. He was all right. It just big. It's a huge game. Like, you know, I think it was his first start for Rangers as well. I'm pretty sure.
Games like that is why he wants to. What's that? Oh, that fucking Bundesliga thing's playing at the better end of the transfer market.
Oh, let me get rid of that in case that does like copyright or something. It was like a little ad. I need to turn my ad block on. See, I've been looking for holidays as well, if you can see
have you?
that.
Mate, I'm going on holiday today.
Yeah,
come back with a bit of a tan, I think, going to Italy. The weather is looking shite as well. I've been looking out the window being like, get me out of this shithole.
Whereabouts you going?
Italy. Yeah.
Yeah, whereabouts?
I think it's called, I don't know. I think it's called like Julio.
Milan? Puglia?
Oh, Puglia, yeah.
Puglia?
Yeah, go on there, Yeah, I can't. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. And also,
Lecce, it's a little scouting mission.
What, Lecce?
It's the heel of the boot on the map of Italy.
Yeah.
You know, like Italy's like a boot.
Yeah.
It's like the heel of the boot.
Oh, decent.
It's
Yeah,
like
there's
just over the
beaches and
border
stuff.
from
It's
like
in the countryside.
Croatia.
It's quite like low key and like, it's nice. I can't wait. I'm gonna just
You like a little holiday, don't you? You're a bit like
Oh, I travel, boy. I travel.
I travel, boy.
I travel.
Didcut, Yately.
Yeah, no, I am looking forward to it. I'm. To be fair, it's the student finance, mate. I should be keeping it. I'm gonna be broke when I get like in a couple of
Yeah.
years. But I'm just like,
Fuck it, mate.
holiday. Yeah. So let's get into it.
I think with the
Sorry, I just got
sorry. No, go on.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, I was going to say that I feel like with the outgoings were a big frustration. I feel like Brian Hill's gone on a permanent deal, which is just music to my ears. Stoppable player on his day, just like he certainly was a player. €6 million, 6 million more than I expected, to be fair. So
Yeah.
He's gone. All of the youngsters that needed game time pretty much have gone. Is there anyone else that could have done with a bit?
Dean Scarlett,
maybe
Matthew Craig.
Dane Scarlett's an interesting one. I wonder whether he's being kept around for the club training stuff for the Champions League, maybe.
Possibly.
But I'm not sure. Matthew Craig, yeah. To be, is this still? Am I making this up or he's still going on loan or something?
I think the Eredivisie is open still.
So is Turkey.
And Turkey.
So is
like Bissouma's still at the club, but I feel like that will get resolved
gone.
soon. He'll probably be gone.
He'll go
to
Turkey
or
Greece
even
or something like that.
Ajax or
Belgium.
That would be Belgium. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But
so pretty much all the youngsters that needed game time have gone.
Yeah,
Good loans. I think Yang to Portsmouth's a good loan.
Yeah,
we've trimmed the fat of the squad for the most part. I think. Is there anyone else really that you think we should have got rid of?
Nah, not obvious ones. Not obvious ones, I don't think. Because at the beginning of the window, I think we probably would have chucked Richarlison in, someone that needed to go, and now he's had like a bit of a resurgence. We got a question from Jackie Nickout, actually, and which kind of leads us into...
I was with Jack on Saturday, actually.
Were you?
Yeah. I had a little beers.
Oh, mate, what a legend. What a legend. He's tall as well. He's you, Seb, Kish, Jack.
Yeah. He's not quite that tall.
No?
But, one day.
Well,
We'll get there.
Well, I'm jealous either way, mate. If you're 5'10", I'm fucking jealous of you. What was I going to say? Yeah, so, Jack, he did say, which of our three strikers, Richie, Solanke, Kolo Muani, will play the most minutes this season? Also, what does this mean for Tel going forward, given the amount of options we have going in the forward areas? I think I will get on to Tel separately in a minute, but Kolo Muani then, mate, because obviously it was a big surprise. What are your thoughts on him? How are you feeling with him coming in, and what do you think he'll bring to the team? And then we'll obviously answer that question of how important he'll actually be to our sort of first 11. I know it's a squad game, but our first 11. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I like him. Did we ever get to the bottom of whether there's an option to buy or not?
I don't think there is.
Oh, there's
I
none.
genuinely don't think there is, because Fabrizio Romano had to literally delete his tweet and then repost saying there isn't one, because he said that there was. Yeah, I mean, he's had... Whisper it quietly.
Shot. Fraud watch.
Fraud watch. Tier 2.
Here we go in 2025. It's watch.
It's like Rio Ferdinand at QBR.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, he. I like Kolo Muani. I was a little bit like on Sunday night before those rumours really started to circle again around Solanke's injury. I was like, when we first started getting linked with a striker, I was a bit like, I'm not sure Kolo Muani is like really what we should be prioritising on deadline day. Then it kind of all came out again about Solanke, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this kind of makes sense, but we need another winger as well. I think I've kind of now I woke up today, I've kind of come to terms with the winger thing.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit like, Kolo Muani can play out there. I don't really want him to play out there, to be honest. Like, I want him to play out front because I think his back to goal play is very, very good. He's a monster in transition as well. Like, just eats up ground. Like, his ball carrying is really, really strong. So he can kind of drop deep and help get us up the pitch. Very technically gifted striker. Like, had a good loan spell at Juve, like 10 goals in 22 games. They obviously wanted to keep him on a permanent deal, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they did, yeah. Right to the last minute. Pender had to go there instead.
Yeah. Was that finances that couldn't get over the line?
I'm not too sure, actually. I have no idea.
But yeah, no, he's 8 goals, 1 assist in Serie A last season in 13 starts. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And in and around the box, he does come alive. It does offer you that versatility to play out wide, but I do think it's that ball carrying ability, that dribbling ability, the pace that he's got, and the link up play. I just think, because I think the biggest thing on Saturday with Richarlison was just like if he comes up against slightly more physically imposing centre-halves, he could make nothing stick. Like, he was dreadful, Richarlison. Like, every time we tried to go direct into him because we couldn't play through the press because we didn't have Simmons or Maddison to kind of drop deep and get us out of those situations, or Kulusevski to kind of carry us out of those situations, or Bergvall, who should have started the game, I think.
I agree.
It was, it's, I think to have someone that when you are playing against those kind of teams, that when you do have to go long, can actually bring it down and bring the other players into play, because we couldn't win any second balls whatsoever. And I think that's where Richie does struggle. He can really impose himself on centre-halves and get physical and make it difficult for them. But if he's playing with his back to goal, a lot of the time it just does kind of like bounce off him. And so I think that's probably the biggest thing that Kolo Muani is going to bring to Tottenham. Just that little bit of more security with his back to goal and bringing other players into play, really.
Yeah, he's quite a complete striker, I think. Kolo Muani. Like, everything I've seen of him, obviously, I mean, I don't know if he's like what do you think? Is he quite clinical? I feel like is that his one sort of downside, or because I watched. I'm not an expert at all, but like I've seen like his last 20 shots gives you sort of a good sort of gauge of like a striker's ability, like in the box, in and around the box, and he actually. Like his heading ability and his box presence surprised me, because I thought he was like getting behind. He can play out wide, and he's, like you were saying, with his ball carrying. He's got a lot of like fox in the box instincts, I think, as well. But is he that clinical? I might be just going off that World Cup miss in the final, but like there's a few times where I've seen him like miss quite or he's roofed a shot, or I need to lock in a little bit more back to his kind of like, because I'm going to do a video on him this afternoon. Like, I mean, a lot of his goals kind of come in from in and around the box. How many, like, what was his XG like compared to? I definitely do think he could be. I think he could be an upgrade. Genuinely, from what I've seen and the pedigree of the teams he's played for, I do think that. Well, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with our striking options, because Solanke and Richarlison, they're really good. But I think, like you were saying on the overlap, you were saying how the biggest concern with them is just relying on them both to get through a season. I know Solanke didn't have any injuries before he came to Spurs, but he's picked up a few knocks and a few injuries so far, and within a year and a bit. Richarlison can't stay fit, and it's going to be a really long season. To have like Kolo Muani to come in Champions League games or big games in the Premier League, and I heard Kiss talk about him being quite a good blend between the profiles of Richarlison and Solanke, and it's like I'm comfortable with that, and I don't. The one thing that does weird me out though is the dry loan, because it does make you think, like, is he? I mean, he's given number 39. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be here past this season, and that's where it's a bit bittersweet, because when you sign a player, you want to know they're your player. You don't want to know they're going to be going back. What
previous 39s have we had? Jonathan Woodgate?
Mate, I have no idea. Was Kane 38 back in the day?
37.
37.
Yeah.
What?
No, hang on a minute.
I'm trying to think of a 38, 39. Was Marcus Rashford 39 when he first came through Man United?
Yeah, he was 39. Yeah. So he was, that tell you?
Yeah.
He was on fire.
He was on fire when he first came through. Yeah. I mean, he's got the 9. He's got number 9 on his back. Just got 3 as well. So, I mean, just ignore that.
3 plus 9 is 12. And if he scores 12 goals in the league...
How many goals would you like hit for a dry line?
15 all comps, I'll take that.
Yeah, I think that's achievable.
Especially with like 2 other strikers as well.
I think that's achievable. Well, have we ever had a loan where we've fallen in love with a player and they've been really good and they haven't come back?
Have
we had a loan like that?
I don't know.
Dan Juma?
I don't know about that. I never really got the Dan Juma thing.
What was Adebayor a dry loan, and then we had to go back and negotiate an actual permanent transfer?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because we fell in love with 5 million though. Yeah, he was so good. He was so clear that he was paying for a contract, though.
Yeah. Just when he got it, he was like, "I'm going to."
Yeah, it was so
mate,
shit.
Him under Shearwood, mate, it was unbelievable. That salute celebration, mate.
But before that second season, the first season under AVB. He was dreadful. Redknapp and Sherwood got them, but maybe just need like an old school English manager just to like
terrific little player, mate.
Terrific little player. Just get the ball into him and like don't fuck about with it, like, and then get the best out of him. I like Kolo Muani. I think out of all the strikers that were on the market yesterday, I'm glad that we didn't go and panic and buy one. Like I thought, I tweeted, I was like, I could see like a big overpay for like Wissa or something like that, and I was like, I'm glad that we didn't do that. I think it was inevitable that he was going to end up at Newcastle with obviously Isak, but I was like,
55 mil.
For guy 1 year left in his contract. I was a little bit like, I thought Spurs might do something like that, but the club clearly like Kolo Muani. I'd imagine it's driven by Pratici. We tried in January. There's something there. I think he's good. I think he could end up maybe kind of potentially taking the number 9 shirt, and then we'd have to go back and renegotiate, or big brain thinking Harry Kane back next year.
I was just about to say because I did.
If we finish in like the Champions League and go, right, you've won a couple of trophies at Bayern Munich.
Well,
maybe people say wouldn't leave. He's there. Maybe he wouldn't. But
because the murmurs are that Harry Kane will be coming back to England, to the Premier League next summer.
Yeah, he wants the record, doesn't he?
He wants that record, and if we are in the Champions League, he did actually say when he left that goodbye wasn't a goodbye, and he was like, "Look, I'm not going to do this." He was like, "I'm not." He was like, "I'm not." He was like, "I'm not going to say goodbye. It's not goodbye because you never know what happens in the future." And I feel like from then, I feel like the only thing is that he's kind of he ain't burnt his bridges, but. Where was Instagram's celebration of our Europa League, mate?
I know.
I actually think he was gutted. The 1 year he actually wins a trophy, we go and win a European trophy. I bet he was just
have
for
that,
fuck's sake. But I do think he will inevitably come back to us. I'll be fuming if he don't. If you have to see him for another Premier League club, I'd be like,
that's the thing. I don't really care if he never comes back to us. I don't really mind. If he goes back to another English club, then I'll be a bit like, I will hate watch. I hope he misses the goal record by like 1 or something.
Or he like achieves it. Unbelievable. Next week, Haaland smashes it, and it's like fuck's sake. He's worked all like life and career. I think he will come back. I actually think this is.
Do you think he'll come back next summer?
Yeah, I think so. Because otherwise, I think it's too late and he'll be too old. And I think he'll have 2,
it's got to be
3 seasons, and then he'll start fading away. And
he's got to fight to get that shirt back. Though Richarlison started the season quite well. I think.
What about number 10? Like, Matters, please.
Yeah.
I genuinely think he will come back this time, and I think that's the forward planning. I think Frank's saying we don't want 3. I mean, otherwise we would have signed Muani. I think he's literally on the market. PSG were insisting for a buy like obligation, and we were like, no, a dry loan. I'm actually confident that he comes back. I am. But the only thing is that what if Kolo Muani's better than Richarlison and Solanke, and then you're looking at him.
Kane?
What if he's better than Kane? I don't. But the thing is, I feel like we could just go in if he is that good and negotiate a transfer. Like PSG want him off the books; they want money for him, and who knows what's going to happen with like Richarlison in the future? What's going to happen with Solanke? I do think Solanke will be here for the long run. I don't think Richarlison's going to be here necessarily for the long run. I think this season we're going to need him, and we're going to need him on fire and fit. But is he going to be here for a couple of years more? I don't know. Like, is it right to, if he has a good year, to maybe sell him and get a bit of like a bit of a fee for him? And he might be in demand if he has a good season as well. More clubs will be.
Who's that? Sorry, my internet, no doubt. Who's on Richarlison?
Yeah. We're gonna need to rely on him this season. We never know Richarlison. He might not be. He might get injured or whatever. But I feel like
also there are some games like we said about on Saturday that just don't work for him. Saturday just did not work for him at all. Like, really poor. So whether
Kane comes in or not, I feel like the strikers are up in the air anyway. So who knows with Kolo Muani? But I just think it's a smart move. Is there a part of you that's a bit bitter that he rejected us in January? Because call me a cuck all you want. I generally don't care. I actually completely understand why he didn't want to come to us in January. We were battling relegation, and obviously we weren't, but we were having a shocking season. Everything was toxic. Who would have told us that we would have won Europa League and be in Champions League?
Oh yeah,
and Juventus wanted him. Like, I would have wanted to go. I'd prefer to go Juventus. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't,
of course you would.
I don't see a problem with that at all. And then he's probably thinking, well, I've already spent 6 months at Juventus. I'd rather go to them and just carry on, and because I'm settled. So he was waiting for that Juventus move, and we were always probably lurking in the background, just whispering sweet nothings in his ear, like trying to sweeten him up and say, look, Spurs. It was always there was a feeling of inevitability about it. And what I quite like as well is that, and I know we have been well scatty and looked like we haven't really had a plan this whole window, and we sort of landed on our feet in a way. But I mean, he was a target before, and he was a target under Ange. But he actually suits how Frank wants to play, arguably more than Ange.
Yeah, I think so.
And it looks like just continuity with this like club project where a manager's going to come in and maybe change the style of play on the pitch and tactics, but our model remains the same. We've got a long-term plan with the hub of players that are coming in, with the fact that we're getting him in. We're getting him in, and we wanted him before under a different manager. So
he's also, again, it's like he's about to go into kind of his prime years. Like he's, it's just like it's not like we're buying or bringing in like a kid and kind of hoping it works. It's like we've kind of obviously done that a lot, and I think it just he's I just think it's a smart sign. I think there's a chance that he could end up being the number 9. For Tottenham.
I think so.
It's going to be interesting if Solanke's out for 2 months, right? It'd be very interesting to see what they do. But the thing is, you can't rely on Richarlison, and you can't rely on Solanke really fitness-wise either. So it's like,
also we ran Solanke into the ground last year. So what if Richarlison gets injured, which is a massive possibility? Like we're riding the Richarlison wave at the moment because he's on fire and we love it. Apart from Bournemouth, obviously, but that happens. But if we've got so many more high intensity games this season to play, and the expectations got to be up now. We've won a trophy. We need to be kicking on. We can't run Solanke into the ground again and say Richarlison gets injured. So having Kolo Muani there, who arguably is better, like you don't know until you see him in the Prem, but he could be. It's definitely the right competition because the Richarlison and Solanke are still going to have a say. But this is massive competition. Hopefully it raises their levels now. Like Kolo Muani's coming in. He's got a pedigree. He's got a European pedigree. Played for PSG and Juventus. But Juventus wanted him. And we've got him on a loan. Like this is a chance for everyone to try and up their levels, but also save their legs in for important games and rotate. Mate. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. But we didn't go for Lookman in the end. No. I think a lot of us thought we'd go for a left winger. Are you frustrated by that? Like, you annoyed at the fact that we didn't sign a Son replacement this window, or are you in acceptance now? Because it got to a point halfway through yesterday where you were just like, we ain't fucking signing the winger.
I think I wasn't that happy about it in the morning, and on Sunday evening I was like, I think we've got to go for a winger. Bear in mind, like we were clearly targeting one. I think that's why fans are a little bit annoyed. It's like they clearly obviously wanted one, so why didn't they get one? But you could also flip that and say, well, the right one wasn't there, and Atlanta only wanted a sale for Lookman. I think if they were open to a loan, I think loads of clubs would have done it, to be honest with Lookman. But there was clearly a reason why Spurs didn't push the button, considering it was such an easy deal to do, or seemed very straightforward from the outside. So I kind of rate the fact that they've not like almost panicked and just gone, there's a good market opportunity there. Even though I think he would have improved our options 100% on that left wing, and I think he adds what we actually I'm a little bit worried about is in terms of the goals. I also do think though that it's not like we haven't got options out on that left hand side. I don't really like Johnson out there in games like we saw on Saturday or the Burnley game unless it does become open. I just really want to see Frank trust Odobert now. I think Odobert, I genuinely think with him, when you've got Simmons and Kudus in that front line behind Kolo Muani, Richarlison, Solanke or whoever, that's a massive kind of upgrade in quality from what Odobert would have been consistently playing with last year. No disrespect to Maddison. Maddison was playing other games, but Johnson was playing on the right and stuff when Odobert was in the team. It wasn't ever like we were at our full best when Odobert was actually having a run of games. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or for a consistent period of time anyway. So I think for him to come in with Simmons and Kudus, I think it almost takes a bit of pressure off him in a way, and it's like he probably will be left 1v1 more, and he wasn't like our only outlet really in that. Like I remember when there was like a big clamour to get Odobert in the team. It was because he was giving us something that we really desperately didn't have.
Yeah.
But he still necessarily wasn't the answer at the time. Like he wasn't that ready, but we needed to hit a player of that kind of profile. Whereas now I kind of think that I quite like the fact that he can come in and almost like fly under the radar a little bit with the other players that are in that attack. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, he can flourish without that expectation heavily relying on his shoulders sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a much better way to put it. I also think like Simmons and Odobert like complement each other quite well as well. I think they can kind of drift into each other's spaces a little bit, and they're both so technically good. I like that, and also like I just don't think we should be playing Johnson in games like we did against Bournemouth. I don't like Spence and Johnson as a left wing dynamic. I don't like that. I know Udogie's injured at the moment, and Udogie. I actually want to talk about Udogie because I feel like I love Jed Spence. Jed Spence is wicked, and I'm really pleased from the England squad, and he's been really good. And he was fine on Saturday. Wasn't part of the problem whatsoever. Don't sleep on Destiny Udogie though. I think he adds so much to our game from an attacking point of view, as well just having that natural width on that left hand side.
Overlap.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be he's going to play more than people are expecting. I think he can help unlock some of the wingers as well. Like you could kind of play if you had Udogie on the left. You could play Simmons on the left if you wanted to, and kind of have him sort of like a bit like we saw in that first pre-season game against Reading, where Udogie was being used as like a wing back. Simmons can go out and play on the left, but still just have the freedom to kind of come inside and play almost as like another number 10.
Yeah.
I think that suits Odobert as well. Like he can come in off the touchline and come inside or go on the outside. I think Udogie's comfortable underlapping and overlapping. I think like don't sleep on Udogie, but I think. I would have liked us to sign a winger, and if we'd have signed Savinho, I genuinely think that would have been like as close to a 10 out of 10 window as we've ever had, or certainly a window where you've kind of come away thinking that we've done everything we can and really showed a lot of ambition. But also, if you'd have said at the start of the window that we would have signed Simmons, Kudus, Japalinho, and Kolo Muani, and like a young centre half that probably might go on loan in January or something, then and got rid of basically all the players we need to get rid of, I think you would have been pretty happy with that.
Well, that's the thing. Like on paper. Like that still looks unrealistic in terms of like what we've been doing before. Like Kudus and Simmons, we'd be like, no, we'd only like go for one of them. Like in previous years, the frustration is Levy's been treating this window like I treat like my uni projects or assignments. It's like lastminute.com. Like I'd say doing the bare minimum, but I think that is a little bit that is harsh on him. But just like scrambling last minute trying to get it done, and not really where other people around you have been getting it done since the beginning and utilised the whole time period of it. But I do think for games like Bournemouth and stuff, having Xavi Simmons on the left, Kudus, and then Bergvall in the middle behind Kolo Muani, that's enough creativity in there. Like you're saying with Odobert and Tel, I think the thing that hinders them is the fact that we've had Savinho dangled in front of us. Like we've had him sort of teased. We've had Savinho teased, but before we had them sort of before we had Savinho sort of on our radar, I think everyone was really excited to see what Frank could do with Tel and Odobert.
Yeah.
And I don't,
exactly. So that can't just go away now.
No.
Like, I do think people might be spitting their dummy out because it's like some people that are doing that, the same people that would said, I really think Frank can get a lot out of him.
Yeah.
And I think a point I was going to make about Kolo Muani as well. Is like I'm naturally inherent, even if I'm not 100% sold, I am naturally excited about any attacker that comes in under Frank because of his kind of. And that's not to say I'm not sold on Kolo Muani, by the way. That's not what I mean. But like I'm talking generally speaking, if we were to sign a player that I was a little bit like 50-50 on, I'm excited about what Frank can do with them from an attacking perspective. Like, look at the track record that's there with... and also, like, if Frank got Wissa scoring how many fucking 20 goals?
Yeah.
He can do that with Kolo Muani. So, but definitely. On the winger point, like, you're totally right, like, on that.
It's massive. It's massive for Odobert and Tel as well, because, like, Tel... I worry for Tel. I saw, I think it was... Harry Brooks on Twitter. He was saying like if we did sign a left winger of the type of like Lookman or Savinho, you'd loan Tel out because it's hindering his game time and his development. And it's a massive 6-month period now where Odobert and Tel have really got to grab that position by the scruff of the neck and make a statement now, because I do worry that if we if we then go get a winger, say in January, and Tel is just showing us what he's shown so far, that he would have to go out on loan and get like game time where he's got more of a sort of prominent role in a team, maybe lower down on the table.
This kind of stage where he's at now might be stunting his development
Exactly.
a little bit.
So it's massive for him, because we know Thomas Frank, he came through the ranks as a player developer. And Tel Odobert, he spoke about how he's excited to work with Odobert. Like I'm confident that we'll see an improvement in them if they play. And I know Johnson's been playing on the left wing. I want to see more Odobert and Tel, especially what you're saying.
It can't go on like this.
Yeah, it can.
Because it's like with Johnson, I feel like Johnson is being made a scapegoat again a little bit. I do feel like he is. I actually think the responsibility lies on the manager.
Yeah,
I just don't think Johnson is the right type of player to be playing at left wing in those kind of games. I think you've got to trust. I think you've got to trust Odobert or trust Tel. Odobert, I think, is the one. I think Tel's not. I don't think, like we said last season, you don't really want Tel hugging the touchline, and that's how kind of Johnson was being used, kind of staying out wide, hold it and there wasn't. The problem is that Bournemouth set up so well against us. Like they were so aggressive. They squeezed hard the pitch, like man-to-man press in that sort of first phase, but they left kind of a little bit, not like what Tottenham did. They left quite a big gap in the middle and kept that defensive line quite reserved and quite deep on the halfway line, to limit the space in behind, but encouraging Spurs to play into a space in the middle where we didn't really have any creativity to get us out of those kind of situations and actually hurt Bournemouth anyway. And they were forcing us to kind of go long because of that, because we couldn't play through their press, to a striker that couldn't really hold the ball up, but limiting the space in behind, so Johnson couldn't really get into the game at all. Like, it was really, really effective what Bournemouth did. And that's, I think, where you've got to, like, Simmons coming in hopefully solves that issue, having a number 10 that can kind of drop deeper and go and rescue the ball and kind of dribble us out or pass us out of those kind of situations. Maddison, obviously, is the key one for that. But I also think having a winger that can kind of come and do that as well, like an Odobert, good in tight spaces, can drop centrally as well. Like, I just don't get, like, that's why my problem isn't with Brennan Johnson. It's actually with Thomas Frank for what happened on Saturday. And the same with Burnley as well. Like, I know it worked for Burnley. Like, the Burnley are not as good as Bournemouth, and we could go 2-0 up, and then Johnson massively comes into the game and scores that third goal. But I don't want Johnson starting left wing in those games. And I think that's what made the need for a left winger even more desperate. But I also think you've got, we sometimes we do go too big on players, but I think Odobert's a bit of a gem. I actually do think that. Like, I understand why people aren't convinced by him. I understand why people don't rate him highly, because there's not been loads to kind of see. But I think there's been enough to see to realise that he should be starting in those games over Johnson, for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think now you've not opted against sign a left winger. I'll be frustrated at Frank if he continues just playing Johnson out there. And that's when I'll be like, you can't do that. You
Frank
can't keep doing this.
That's where I'll be like.
Frank's got to go, blood. He has to go, blood.
Allegri blood. I completely agree, mate. I completely agree. And the thing is, I saw this thing, I think someone quote tweeted you on Twitter, and it was like, because you posted about Odobert, like, this is your time, or whatever he said. And someone was like, how about we try something out where we actually just back the players we've got, where we've got like a young group of players. We've added a bit of star quality, Kudus, Simmons, Paulinho, that leader in the midfield. Why don't we just we've given a bit more of a baseline, a bit more of a platform for the Tels and the Odoberts to really show their talent now, where they're not being heavily relied upon. Because when we signed Tel last year, we actually signed him because we needed him to be ready then and there, and he wasn't. So there was a bit of frustration because we were in tatters and we had so many injuries. We needed his goals and we needed like his output, and he didn't have that yet because he wasn't ready. He was very raw. He is a very raw player, and the same with Odobert. And Odobert obviously was injured a couple of times last year, and it was frustrating. And we've gone into this season and we've seen Brennan Johnson on the left wing. Yeah, he scored 2 goals. He was suited, like you're saying, he's suited for the City game. But the Bournemouth game, we needed Odobert. We needed Tel. Also, what you're saying with, if we have Jed Spence on the left, Odobert can hug that touchline.
Yeah, exactly.
If we have Tel on the left, a Doggy can hug the touchline, and Tel can drift inwards or attack the box, attack the space. And I do think like having like Simmons for players like Tel, have like creating space, drawing players over, and then Tel with a 1v1, like that shot, the shot he loves to do with the step over 1v1 and bend it around a player into the corner. We need to see that more. So they got a massive 6 months. If not, I think maybe a loan for Tel, but that's not the end of the world. Like they've got a platform now.
Do you know what it's a little bit like as well? It's a little bit like, how a load of people are digging out like Paulinho after Saturday and saying, see, like this is why you shouldn't be playing these kind of games. For me, that's not the issue. The dynamic of the midfield is the issue, and it's the same with Johnson and Spence. Like the profile of the players, like there's an element of where like you don't necessarily need a profile like Palhinha for the Bournemouth game. A player on the wing, a profile of the player on the wing like Johnson shouldn't be playing in that kind of game. But it's also about the dynamic. Like Palhinha can play in that game, but I don't think you should be playing Palhinha with Bentancur and Sarr.
Yeah, no.
You've got to get a Bergvall in there.
Yeah.
Or obviously, ideally, Maddison Simmons. Like then it's not an issue. And it's the same as like Johnson and Spence. Like they just don't complement each other. That's the thing I'm struggling with a little bit. Not necessarily like making it about the individual players. I think it's the dynamics and the selection of profile for balance. That game and the balance of it. That's my kind of only blemish so far on Frank's paper.
Yeah, and
so far.
he's getting used to the squad. So I think time will tell. And
also, like, no disrespect to Ange, but like I do feel like Frank is the sort of manager to look at that and go,
not working.
That's not worked.
Yeah.
We got to change something here.
Yeah.
I'd say the left winger thing, to kind of come back to it, like I just think that I understand why Spurs fans are frustrated. What's going to happen is people are going to go, where's the Savinho money gone? And I get that, but I'm also, if the club didn't feel like the right alternative was out there, I would rather them save the money. It's just that we've got this history of like Levy's pocketing the money and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I do get it. I understand why people are frustrated, but at the same time, they could go back for Savinho in January. Like Man City strengthened quite big in January window last year. Savinho might get frustrated at the lack of game time in the World Cup and think, I want to go now. And he pushes the move and kind of forces City's hand a little bit more than he was maybe in the summer. So that might be pie in the sky, wishful thinking a little bit. But there is a chance that happens.
I don't think that's unrealistic either, because I was going to say that, and I think it's smart. But again, like you're saying, we've been burnt so many times before. Like like remember the war chest we had in 2022 or 2021. It's like, where the fuck did that go? We still got that.
Yeah.
And
fucking war chest.
And the same with this is like this injection of cash. We didn't spend more than we normally do in a transfer window. We were quite sort of reserved with it, but that we all know there was that 70 mil burning in the pocket where we were happy to pay for this Savinho. He was the number one target, but I actually think, I mean, you look at Liverpool last year, they had their targets. They couldn't get them that year, so they just waited for them. And I guarantee we'll still be in Savinho's ear being like, we'll come back in for you. Just let it all work out. I was just thinking,
oh my God.
I was thinking to myself earlier, I was like, there is definitely a world where Rodrigo hasn't been playing because he doesn't fit the Real Madrid system. He kicks up a fuss because you've got 6 months before the World Cup and he's not in the Brazil team. And then he gets his move to City, because City are always going to be there for him. Maybe even a little bit of more of a cut price, 50, 60 mil. And then Savinho, then they say, look, Savinho, Cherky's back from injury. Savinho, you're not getting in the Brazil squad either. What do you want to do? And Savinho said, I want to, and we placed that 70 mil that we've kept for him on him, and we've waited out for that number one target because he's keen to come to us. I guarantee he'll still be keen in 6 months to come to us, unless a massive change happens in the next 6 months. And I think Paul O'Keefe said like 5 minutes is a long time in football, but we're going to try and go for him again in January. We've got that money for him. I can see a world where, and also like he's good mates with like Xavi Simons, like. I think before we signed, I think now we're in a more advantageous position to sign him. We look more appealing as a club than before.
Signing Xavi Simons kind of unlocks the door, I think, for like, not to put too much pressure on him, but like I think it does a little bit in terms of have a look at what Spurs have done. Like,
he wanted to come to us before we signed him, and he's his mate. Like, I am confident that, and if not. Like we have, I don't know. Like there's other positions there as well. The thing is, though, I just think he might actually be an opportunity in January. I think a lot of teams don't want to sell in January, but he actually might. There's a world where and a possibility where he is still available because Rodrigo's available, and it's sort of the domino effect works, and he comes to us. But the
dominoes haven't fallen yet, but they're teetering.
Yeah, teetering. Yeah,
they're about
wobbling a little bit.
They're getting a bit shaky.
Yeah, a little bit shaky. You know.
Yeah.
Gary Hunter says clubs need to be planning for 2 windows ahead, so you could have about 200 250 mil to spend between now and next August. Fucking hell. Gary, mate, what are you smoking? I'll have that. I'll have some of that, mate. I don't know. Nah. To be fair, over the course of 2. To be fair, we were active. What am I trying to say? This summer we actually made investments that we made in January that it did add up to what to spend. So I don't know 200 mil, but
Yeah, what was our total spend?
It was more than you think, I think, wasn't it? Because Danso was
Probably, yeah,
25 mil. Tel was what? 30
so they're about
mil.
50 mil.
Yeah, they're thereabouts. And then you had Simmons.
100 mil for Kudus and Simmons.
Yeah. And
that's 150.
Takai 5 mil.
Yeah, so
Paulinho loan.
Yeah, but there's probably some sort of fee there for him and Kolo Muani.
Yeah, probably about 160
mil, something like that.
Yeah, so yeah. And Kinski as well in January, don't forget.
It's quite a high net spend as well, because we only sold Son.
Yeah, that's true.
So we spent over 100 mil net this summer. So
yeah, leave you in.
That's the thing. Yeah, bald is beautiful. That's the thing though. It's never really been about the spending, has it? It's never really been about that. It's just been about. And again, I think one of the issues that you can kind of still that does blemish this window slightly is the process and all that.
Yeah,
like
it's frustrating. It's horrible.
Gary did also message me the other day and said, also Darren and Doing is genuinely my fave podcast at the moment. Yeah, not football podcast, just podcast in general. That as well. Yeah. Literally love it.
Love you, Gary, mate. You're a legend.
Fucking love it. Yeah, Gary, absolutely class.
What a legend. Yeah, and thing is, what I was going to add to that is that. Sorry, what is the question actually? Sorry, I didn't really because I thought about it in terms of the question I was going to ask you. Yeah, who do you bring in January and the summer? I mean, at Spurs when deadline day is just gone, and we're already thinking about January and summer. But
yeah, just have my lunch. What's for dinner?
Yeah, what was that? we've I mean, it's about squad planning, and you obviously know everything's not going to get done. I sound like a manager the day after deadline day. I'm happy with the squad. You're never satisfied.
Typical making bloody excuses, mate.
You're never satisfied at the end of every window. But I do think, say that works out, Savinho, fucking better, because this is all my mental well-being is being bet on Savinho coming in January. But say Savinho comes in January, say. The centre-backs worry me a little bit, because if Romero and Van der Ven do get injured, you're left with Takai, who has had no experience, Dragusin coming back from a ACL, and Danso. Like, I love Danso. Davis, maybe. It's like we're a couple injuries back from being like, we are in crisis. But the thing is, the system does sort of give a little bit of leeway, whereas like Ange would be like, who fucking cares, mate? We don't even need defenders. But Frank's like
Archie, get in there, mate.
Yeah. Archie, you little twink. Get it? What are you doing up?
Yeah, get back, mate. Centre off, mate. Centre off, mate.
I am a little bit pessimistic when it comes to we didn't get that centre back in, but at the same time,
I don't think I thought about the defenders as much as I probably should have, to be honest. I was a little bit like yesterday. I was like, oh, it would have been nice, but not the end of the world. I think it's because I wanted to prioritise another attacker. I think that was the priority. Yeah. So it
could be a little loan in January though, like you were saying before. No one wants to hear it, but like a Longley loan or an Ake loan, or like it don't have to be anything like.
Oh mate, I would have taken Ake or a Kanji 100%.
Yeah, me too. I was a little bit annoyed when he went to Inter. So like that can be done in January as well, on top of maybe a Savinho if we are in need, like we did with Danso. We whipped Danso out of our arse. He's quality for 25 mil. Like it can be done. So I'm fine with that, because obviously Vuskovic, what a mentality he has, by the way.
Yeah, that's class.
Unbelievable. The quotes, if you haven't seen his quotes, check him out. But like he maybe next season, after a year of playing for Hamburg, like we've got a hub of centre backs where I think more so we need more. I still think Dragusin, I want to see him in Frank's system, but I feel like we're more crying out for an actual like left back, more so than centre backs. If Vuskovic lives up to the hype this season and Takai is competent, or I know that's optimistic, but we let's not put a downer on it until we actually know, and then we can sort of like reassess. And look, so this is what we said. We said Kane's coming back in the summer. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's that? That's copium, Mick.
Has he got what fee would that? Do you think that would actually take? Has he got release clauses for it? I think there was rumours about that.
Isn't it that we have to match?
We get basically matching rights on like what? We get first dibs.
Please don't. No one bid over 70 mil, because we ain't doing it. Do you know what I mean?
He's actually washed. His legs are gone.
Yeah, shit, mate.
You know what's going to happen? We'll line the deal up and he'll do like his metatarsal or something in the World Cup.
Yeah. His ankle problem will come back just as he's about to sign for Spurs. Actually, yeah, he's still got a bit of an ankle problem, and I swear he did his ankle for Bayern. I don't know.
He's had a few injuries at Bayern. He had like a back injury, didn't he? Which is before the Euros, which is why apparently he was so shit.
That's because he spent years fucking carrying us, mate.
Exactly, yeah.
Just busted. Yeah, I think 60 mil, 65 mil, Harry Kane, buy back. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Savinho in January. So now we've got Savinho and we got Kane. Fuck me, we're in
Spurs 26, 27 title winners incoming.
So, and then I'm thinking we sign. I don't ever want to go near Palace again.
Mate. Why did it not take? I mean, Solomon's gone now, thankfully.
Well. Yeah, but I mean, like Parish, like do one, mate. I
used to like Steve Parish, but fuck him.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like Wharton. I'm sorry, mate. I love you, but I'm not going
Steve
near
Marinakis.
Yeah, it's like yeah,
out of principle. Also, Wharton's injury prone.
He lived long enough to become the villain, mate. Parish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I also think that there will be some clubs that avoid Wharton. I genuinely actually think that because I do think he's done his groin again. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Like against Villa at the weekend. I don't know how serious it is, but actually, isn't that why Loftus-Cheek's in the English squad? Probably.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a good point. That's fucking ridiculous.
Loftus. Yeah. Ruben.
Claps cheeks. Good looking guy, to be fair. Good looking guy.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I saying?
26, 27 title winners.
Title winners. Yeah. We're going on a title charge.
Second half of the season we're going on a title charge.
It's part of the master plan, innit? Fuck, why do I keep going black? Harry Kane. Harry Kane.
Whose name is Harry Kane?
Whose name is Harry Kane? Harry Kane coming back. Savinho 70 mil. Yeah. Maybe.
Belieber.
Belieber. Yeah. I reckon we'll go for like maybe a Guam Stiller type midfielder.
Yeah.
See what happens to our midfield. Maybe Bentink or get into the I don't know. Fucking hell. We're really looking into it. No one knows. By the way, we're just saying like when it comes to squad planning, we're just trying to figure out how many players we are from a competent squad. Maybe like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Left back. Kane. We don't need Kane, but I just feel like it's going to happen. Savinho. Yeah. I'm saying we don't need Kane. Of course we need Kane, but I'm just saying we don't need a striker. We just bought fucking Kolo Muani.
Yeah.
This is a shit pod.
Say Harry Kane.
So and then yeah. So what do you think? Squad planning
it's a fair conversation. Like what have we left ourselves with still to do for the next window?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Because Gary is right. Like you're lining things up way more in advance than people are kind of, not necessarily in terms of specific players, but in terms of what you want and what you want to do.
Yeah.
And obviously with the start of a new project under Frank as well, it's going to be less reactive because you're planning for the long term. So I do think like maybe I still think I wouldn't be surprised if next summer I'm sort of thinking about who might not last the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Sorry, might not survive till next season.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And I think there's maybe a case for someone like a Johnson, maybe. Or like
Cash in Johnson, maybe. That's
maybe,
the thing, like Johnson's so
I think if we're going to sign
goals.
another winger, I think someone does have to go.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, maybe Tel alone if he's not up for it at a moment.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, like Johnson... Thing is, imagine Kane getting the ball. Why have I got Kane in my head? Like, it's fucking... But imagine Kane dropping deep and
Johnson running behind.
One to Xavi Simmons.
Yeah.
And then just pinging one. Johnson's on his bike and misses.
I've decided that I'm just going to call Xavi Simmons. I'm just going to call him Xavi from now on. I think it's colder.
Safe Xavi.
Yeah. I think it's just a bit colder.
Yeah, it is colder. Xavi.
We've got Xavi plays for a club.
Xavi, Bergval with his receding hairline. He could
what
be
do you
like
think about him having a bit of a strop in the warm up?
I like it, mate.
Yeah, I do. Like mentality monster.
Yeah, a little bit of a bite. He was our player of the season last year. Do you know what I mean?
And also, he was our best player when he came on the pitch.
Yeah, he was. And
we were so bad.
I've got concern about Frank a little bit in the fact that when I was looking at our midfield and the way that he wants to operate, like dribblers aren't what necessarily he sort of needs in his midfield, and Bergval is such a he can play a pass, but he's like, I'm going to take on about 3 players and move up the pitch or move side on or change the sort of trajectory of
we'll change the momentum, the tempo of the game. Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the time the midfield's a little bit like not bypassed, but I mean like the midfield come deep, collect it
in build up.
Yeah. And Bergval's like, you want him on the ball, you want his confidence getting up. You don't want him to only have like 2 or 3 dribbles a game because he he sort of thrives on the touches and building momentum and confidence in a game. And the best we've seen of him is where he's really tried to grab a game by the scruff of the neck.
I do think if you had that, I know what you mean, but I do think that if you get him on the pitch from the start, I do feel like he's just got to that individual response. I do think Frank wants his players to take individual responsibility as well. Like, I don't think if you'd have played Bergvall in that game instead of Sarr, for example, I don't think you would have seen Bergvall kind of playing in a front two with Richarlison kind of going up there to try and win the flick-ons.
That's true.
I think you would have seen him dropping a lot deeper to try and help and get on the ball. I also don't think Sarr's the issue. I think Sarr should have played with Bournemouth's threat on transition. I think it should have been Bentancur probably or Palhinha that dropped out.
Yeah, I love the Bentancur Palhinha double pivot when it comes to like the games where we need experience, we need level heads, we need to win those duels. But in the other games, Palhinha sitting deep with Bergvall and Sarr just with a license to get up and down. That they have the blend of that sort of tenacity, like ball winning and sort of box crashing and a little bit more creativity than having Bentancur, Palhinha and Sarr. And then if you play that, maybe you could have Simmons on the left, Kudus on the right and Muani up front or Solanke and Richarlison. I think that balance is still there. I do think that's more than enough until Kulusevski comes back in terms of creativity. Because you've got the wingers, maybe a doggy Porro like bombing past, doing the overlaps when Kudus and Simmons come in, maybe into like drop into the half spaces between the attacking midfield and the wings. Do you know what I mean? I can see it sort of working. I just think maybe he needs a little bit of time to sort of just bed into Frank's plans. I think Frank is so early on, and we're gonna really dissect each game with a lot of detail and have a lot of concerns. But such a long season, there's so much play.
Yeah.
This time last year, Bofa hadn't even got a sniff really, and he had a great pre-season. Remember what was the first game? I can't remember. Karabag, and he got subbed off because Dragusin got sent off.
Red card.
And we were so excited to see Bergvall, and he got subbed off, and there was that picture of him looking really sad on the bench. I think patience. I think patience is needed, and time will come. I think his time will come. I mean, he started in the game against Burnley, and he did really well, I thought.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was good. And he was playing as the more advanced of the three, and he was still dropping deeper to kind of link the. It's just like I love the pace in which he plays the game.
Yeah.
He's such a good player, man.
Him and Simmons,
that was a weird conversation on Sunday, wasn't it? About like, would you sell Bergvall to get Rodgers?
And Odobert. That's weird.
I think Odobert, I was a little bit more like, okay, if you're going to bring in a player that is that stature, Morgan Rodgers, then sacrifices do have to be made. And I was like, I don't want to get rid of Odobert, but if you said to me, would you swap Odobert for Rodgers? I would. But Bergvall, come on.
Mate, I'll tell you what, we, as a fan base, we're so addicted, and football fans, we're so addicted to dopamine. We're like a heroin addict nicking his mum's TV and selling it for a bit of snag. Do you know what I mean?
It's like,
literally. It's like, I'm going to destroy my relationship with my mum and still, hang on, is that 20 quid out? Take that as well. Maybe that.
Yeah, don't worry about my mum.
I'm going to steal her TV and then I'm going to buy some heroin and then I'm going to get that instant relief and then I'm going to be like, what's next? That's what we were doing as a fan base. That's what we were doing as a fan base on that evening before the deadline, being like, yeah, I probably would take. I'd swap Odobert and Rodgers. It's like, calm down. Calm down. I know
in this totally hypothetical situation,
which isn't happening. But I don't know. It's desperate times. I think we wanted that because we had that Savinho sort of dangle. We just wanted something like that. So how are you rating the transfer window, mate? And also when it comes to, because Matt Sapolo asked after this window, considering what you think will happen in a January window, what your realistic expectations of the year? For me, quarterfinals of the Champions League, 5th, 6th place, and a good run in the Domestic Cup. How do you rate the window out of 10? And how does it sort of play into your expectations of the season?
I think fundamentally the bottom line is the squad's in a better place than it was when we started the window. More quality, more depth in most areas, except for maybe defence, which is an area that I do think, like we just said, we could have probably done quite well to get one more in. Obviously, with Vuskovic gone, Takai's there. It's obviously a lot for him to step up, but I like all of the players that we brought through the door. I think Kudus is brilliant. I think Simmons is so exciting. Palhinha is so sensible. And Kolo Muani makes a lot of sense. And unfortunately, that's one that we just had to be reactive with rather than, our focus kind of shift in the last day. The process of certain things still worries me a little bit, although I do, to caveat it, like I said the other day, sometimes when you are shopping in the kind of echelons that we were shopping in the window, you do leave yourselves a little bit more vulnerable because you'll compete with more of the big boys, unfortunately, and that's what happened with Eze, etc. Gibbs White was obviously a little bit unlucky, and if we'd got Gibbs White in earlier in the window, I would have been, gas with him, so that that was something that was a little bit out of our hands. So there's a couple of areas where we left ourselves short, and again, it's another window where we haven't quite done everything we can, but I don't think it's worth the crash out that we're going to see, as long as they continue to just add and add over the next course of the next 12 months in the next 2 windows. I would have liked a winger, like I said, but I do think that maybe they just didn't want to panic and not get the guy that they wanted. The thing is with Savinho, it does just frustrate me because I think we could have had him. I do think we really could have had him. But if we'd just gone in with City a little bit more aggressive early, but we don't do that. That's kind of the problem. But on paper, I think it's a good window. I'd probably rate it 7.5.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be higher than that because I just think the defence and maybe the wing, but it's good signings though.
Yeah, I think Langer definitely did himself favours at the end of the window. Because
that picture of him with Kolo Muani is so funny. I don't really know why. Yeah,
yeah, it was weird. Yeah, what were they talking about? I wonder. I don't, like maybe the data of how many goals they expect him to score if he.
Maybe.
Probably. He got his laptop out.
Yeah. You put it in there.
Just put it there.
Put it in the net.
I think he did redeem himself because a week ago it was a proper crash out. And I think the worry was just if you compare it to last summer, we signed Solanke. That was one improvement on the first 11, and then the rest were kids. Okay, we've had a nice. We signed Takai, but I think we've had a nice blend between we got experienced players in, Kolo Muani, Paulinho. We've got the experienced players in, but that have more to give and more years to give, like Simmons and Muani and Kudus. I'm very satisfied with it. It's just the fact that there's 2 things to caveat it, or that sort of put a dark cloud over it. It's the fact that everyone else in the Prem, this window is crazy, that we needed to try and compete with the calibre of players we signed.
Especially when you look at how Villa and Newcastle,
exactly.
Obviously, they weak. I think Newcastle have. Again, individually, I quite like all the players they've brought in, but I don't feel as good about them as a squad. Yeah. Or as a team now, maybe, without Isak.
Same
it's Villa as well. There's something not right there. So it's we have taken the jump to kind of maybe, that's not happening again. Back in the top 6, at least.
And Man United, they've signed really good players, but they had the players already in that position that they didn't strengthen.
And the biggest issue is the manager.
And the manager,
they've not solved their biggest problem.
No, that system just does not work with the players they've got, and their midfield doesn't look right. Their wing backs aren't consistent enough, or there's not enough depth. The defense goalkeeper. So I'm confident in the fact that I think we're favourites for 5th. Obviously, we've got Champions League and stuff. So I don't think it's doom and gloom. I think we got to think where we were last year. We finished 17th. If we didn't win the Europa League, how different would times be right now if we didn't win that? Fucking hell. We would have been in the trenches. We were already in the trenches. Mate. But yeah.
We'd been getting Jadon Sancho on loan on the last day of the season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we actually would have.
That's a weird one.
It is weird. It's so weird.
I like the fact they got Harvey Elliott, though. That's a good signing.
I think that's a good signing, but I just
Obligation to buy 35 million.
Yeah, that is really
decent.
Good. That is really good. But I just think, Sancho, when you're signing Sancho on loan, that could have been us, but it wasn't. I don't. Yeah, I don't think they'll. If I was a Villa fan, I wouldn't be over the moon. Newcastle wouldn't be over the moon. I think if we didn't have the Savinhos and the Eze, Gibbs White, all those situations. I know Simon's definitely made up for the Eze deal, but it's a bit bittersweet because we know what we could have had. But I mean, you just look at the teams, everyone else that's strengthened around us, and you just think we're not there. We're not there. And that's okay. I'm fine with it because we got a long-term manager and we got a long-term planning, and we finished 17th last year. 5th would be a massive year for us, and I said at the beginning of the pod, FA Cup is there for the taking. I think. I mean, we saw Palace do it,
so, mate.
And I think with the team we have, especially with maybe a reinforcement in January, if Savinho's still available, I think we'll try and make that deal happen. We got that money for it, and I'm still optimistic. And I'm with you. Lookman would have been dopamine injection, like unbelievable signing, but there was something not right about it. That no one else was making the move, and everyone wanted to.
Why is he not gone?
Yeah, and it was just a bit like, I'm glad we didn't get sort of pressured into that, because we probably would have done before. And then you've now got too many players in there, in case it doesn't work out, where our first choice can't get in now, because we need to offload a couple more players. We offloaded Solomon and Hill and hopefully Basuma. I'll give it. That was a long story, but I'll give it. At the beginning of the window, I would have given that an 8.5 because of everything that happened and how we got there and the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
I'll give it.
It was the here we goes we had along the way.
I'll give it a 7.5 as well. I think.
Yeah, I think it's around that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not a bad window by any stretch of the imagination. A good window.
I think our best window in ages.
Good window. For sure.
Yeah, I think so.
For sure.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, optimism all about.
I'm so fucking glad it's over.
Yeah, innit? It's such a relief. I woke up this morning being like, I haven't got the need to check my phone straight away. Like I
felt like a new lease of life.
yeah. It is refreshing. And we also got this little break. So I'm going to enjoy my holiday. When we get back, we're going to talk about the Champions League squad, because we've got a couple of questions about that, which is a mess. But by that point, it probably will be out anyways, wouldn't it?
I saw someone on Twitter just now saying it's essentially like, do we pick Davis or do we pick Odobert? Fucking hell, it's got to be Odobert in it, surely.
Yeah, what the fuck? I think our hands been forced a little bit with injuries, anyways. Like it might have to be the case of being like, wait, Kulusevski until the knockout stages. And
interestingly, Jack Enoch Out said this on Saturday to me at the pub. Right, he said that apparently, with the Champions League squad, you can register an emergency goalkeeper. So if Vicario was to get injured, you can swap Kinski in.
Decent.
So apparently, because I think Nathan Clark on the Extra Inch said that he would drop Kinski. Because apparently you can do that. I'm going to ask ChatGPT.
That would make sense.
I'm going to do it right now while we're in the pod.
Yeah, because that would solve a lot of issues.
Can you register
that would solve a lot of issues.
An emergency goalkeeper?
Because the thing is, I do wonder when Kinski's going to get game time, because I do really want to see him, and you want him to be playing. It's just I actually think he's a very good backup.
You can.
Can you?
Under UEFA's rules for the Champions League, a club can register an emergency goalkeeper if they cannot field at least 2 fit goalkeepers from their registered List A squad due to a long-term injury or illness lasting more than 30 days, or after an outgoing permanent transfer of a goalkeeper.
Absolute cinema, mate.
So I think you can leave him out the squad.
Yeah.
I think that says List. I can't field List 2 goalkeepers. Does that mean that you have to register 2 List goalkeepers in your List A bit though?
Wouldn't that be Vicario and Austin? Because club training.
Would Austin be in the... Good point. Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
So instead of Kinski, it's Austin, is it?
Yeah. Because they left Kinski out of the Europa League squad, didn't they?
Fuck no. Well, yeah, but fuck no.
I'll get to the bottom of this.
Do some...
In a week's time, in the next episode, you'll find out.
Investigative journalism. And
the deadline will be in the next few days, I think.
Yeah, so this will come out, and we'll sort of go through it when we get back. But everyone, legends, thanks for getting your questions in. Anything else you want to add? Go
and watch the overlap. Go and get in the comments and show some love. That'd be really appreciated.
Yeah, of course.
That's kind of it, really. I'm so fucking glad transfer window's over.
Yeah, it was a massive relief that it's just done. Everyone, thank you so much. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, all of that stuff. Follow on all the audio platforms, and send it to mates that you think will enjoy. Legends,
100%.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank God it's done. The window. Thank God. All the best.